All right, we're looking at question 23. Taking a little bit of a look at this one, this is a really mean question. It's not that bad, really, but it's definitely going to scare a lot of kids. Let's take a look at it anyways. Students were asked to write a formula for the length of a rectangle by using the formula for its perimeter. And here's the formula. P equals 2L plus 2W. Three of their responses are shown below. And so here's response 1, 2, and 3. And they're asking which responses are correct. Is it 1 and 2 only? Is it 2 and 3? Is it 1 and 3? Or is it 1, 2, and 3? You can do the work yourself, right? It looks like they're solving for L. And it's probably a good exercise. Let's solve for L. P equals 2L plus 2W. So I've got P equals 2L plus 2W. And all we're doing is we're just trying to get L all by itself. So we're going to start moving the W away. So let's do minus 2W to both sides, right? Just these literal inverse operations equations. Cross those off. P minus 2W, I don't know what that is. So I'm just going to, P minus 2W, that's it. Equals 2L. And now I'm going to try and get L all by itself. So I'll divide both sides by 2. This is where the question gets kind of gross. I end up with, the way I solved it at least, I end up with L is equal to P minus 2W over 2. And that's actually the same as what they have for 3. Okay, that's great, because at least I can say, well, it's not 1, right? The way I solved it, I ended up with P minus 2W over 2. I know that 3 is at least correct, so I can cross off at least 1. It's not that. It's got to be, 3's got to be somewhere in the answer. An issue is, though, I can do a bunch of stuff here, right? This is P minus 2W. It's all over 2, so I can really go ahead and, this is answer choice 3. I know that's definitely right. But I can divide this 2 to both, right? I can distribute the divide by 2 there, the divide by 2 there. So I get P divided by 2 and negative 2W divided by 2. Well, P divided by 2 is really the same thing as a half times P, right? Because there's really a 1 over there. I can move the P over. And the 2 divided by 2 will cancel. I get a half P minus W. That's another answer, right? L equals a half P times 1/2 times P minus W. That's answer choice 1 right there, which is 1 and 3. But on top of that, which is kind of crazy, I can get 2 as well, and it's a little bit more difficult, but it is possible. If I say, well, now hold on, let's what did they do here? It looks like they had this over here, and they said, you know what? I'm gonna divide a half out from each of these. Now, normally you wouldn't do that because you're like, well, I don't see a half in front of there, but I can. As long as I divide both of these by the half, it kind of works out. So I'll divide a half out there. I end up with a half in front. Divide the half out, easy enough. I took a half away from a half P. I'm left with just P. If I take a half away from 1, I'm going to divide out a half. You can divide a half out from 1. Make a new page. If I say 1 divided by 0.5 divided by a half, it's really 2. So then I end up with minus 2W. That's the answer they came up with over here. So they're actually all technically correct. This is kind of a confusing, scary way to do it. But what you can always do here is you can do a stow and check on your calculator, right? I can try each of these answers, 1/2 P minus W. So I can just say, all right, let's stow some values in a P and W so this will work out. Let's do I'll do 2.123 stowed into P. That's not a P. What did I just do? Stowed into P. Great. And 1.321 blah blah whatever stowed into W. Right? And the stow button, by the way, is just Control and then var to store that value into P or into W. I've got these two over here. And now I can just try comparing these different things and see if they're all the same. If they're all the same, then it works, right? So I can try Control divide P minus 2W over 2. That was the first one. And I can check, is that equal to the second one, right? The second one was, or P minus 2W over 2, and then I'll do the second one 1/2 P minus 2W. What am I doing? Yeah, control divide, a half, parentheses, what is it? P minus 2W. P minus 2W. That's true. These two are the same, so if 3 is good, then 2 is good. And we can check the same way we did that. I can check 3 versus 1, and if 3 and 1 work together, then that works too. A half, P minus W. 1 half, P minus W. That's also true. So if 3 matches 2 and 3 matches 1, then they all are equal to each other. So that's another way to do it with a little bit less algebra knowledge. Either way, the right answer here is 1, 2, and 3. It's a little bit confusing, but I hope that could have helped a little bit.